Okay guys, so one of our biggest issues towards finishing our garage is our first two bays can't be painted until we can figure out how to stop this flooding. So these first two bays are about 6 inches lower than the rest of the bays are. And every time it rains, the water easily just floods over this tiny garage threshold right here and ends up soaking the garage floor. Now we think we have developed a solution to fixing this problem, and we're going to try to attempt it with this next project. You can see over in this corner that the water's already starting to flood in and the threshold doesn't even reach the edge of the door. So we have a sandbag here and it did stop some of the water, and eventually it ripped and sand has ended up flooding in. Right now this isn't too bad. It's only managed to come in about 2 feet, but it's about to start picking up and raining a lot harder here in a minute. And as soon as it does, it builds up enough water outside this door, and then as soon as it gets taller than the threshold, it all just floods in and ends up soaking half of this first bay. Okay, so you can see the water is building up and it's about to overflow the lip of the threshold right here. So I'll give it a couple more minutes probably of this rainfall and it will start to flood in this corner. It's already started to flood in the right corner. You see our water has leaked in even farther than before. So obviously the big culprit here is that the threshold doesn't extend to the door, and so all that water easily finds a way in right there. So with hopefully our idea, we'll be able to plug that issue. But the big thing is it doesn't matter if we extend it all the way to the door, because ultimately the rainfall ends up pouring up so much water right here that it just floods right over the threshold. And the garage door itself doesn't sit all the way down on the ground. It's just maybe a 1/4 inch above the ground, maybe less than that, but just above the ground. So it doesn't provide a good enough seal to prevent the water from getting in.
My idea is to create a taller barrier to stop the water from flowing over the seal. To do this, I'm going to use pressure-treated 2x6s set behind the seal. Since I will have to drive over them every day, I'm using my new Ryobi router with a Diablo chamfer 45-degree bit to cut off the edges of both sides of the boards. Before painting, I used my sheet sander to do a quick light sanding. This was the first project I have used it on, and it worked really well. The dust collection on it meant that I didn't have to worry about breathing in the pressure treatment chemicals in the sawdust while doing the sanding, even in the well-ventilated area. Removing the rubber seal was not as difficult as I thought it would be. I managed to get a scraper tool underneath it and break it free. Then I grabbed the end of it and was able to just pull off the rest of it. I followed up with pressure washing to remove the glue residue on the concrete, and I had to scrape it off of the rubber seal as well. Originally, my plan was to tuck the seal under the 2x6. But I realized that wouldn't work, so I decided to cut off the short side of the seal. My Ryobi multi-tool made quick work of it. I don't use the multi-tool often, but when I do, it's extremely effective for the task at hand. Before I install the 2x6s, I'm going to glue down a layer of asphalt paper. This will create a smoother, level surface for the 2x6 to sit on instead of the uneven rocks of the concrete. The asphalt paper has its own sticky side, so I didn't need to use a lot of the Loctite to apply it. In order to secure the 2x6s, I'm using a 2 3/4 inch long Kapton concrete screw. First, I pre-drill through the wood with the recommended 3 16 inch drill bit. Then, using the hole as a guide, I drill into the concrete with my hammer drill. Unfortunately, the hammer drill proved to not be up to this task, so I ended up needing a new tool.
So last week I did an unboxing on this Ryobi rotary hammer drill, which I bought specifically for this project. So my standard hammer drill was not able to drill through this concrete, and so I bought the rotary hammer drill to hopefully be able to accomplish this job, and it is doing wonders on this concrete. The hammer drill would take me anywhere from like 30 seconds to just go like maybe a quarter inch into the concrete, and this thing is going through it in like 5 seconds flat. So let me show you.
Once I finish securing the boards, I can reinstall the now cut rubber seal flush to the outside edge of the 2x6s. To do this, I'm going to apply an entire tube of Loctite to the bottom of the seal.
So I finished the project yesterday, and the Ryobi rotary hammer drill that I bought to finish this project worked out really well. So I'm really happy about that purchase and wish I had done that a lot sooner. However, the project did not work out the way I intended it to. A few hours after I finished up, it started raining really hard, and I was able to use that opportunity to judge to see if the project had actually achieved my goal of preventing the water from flowing into the garage. And within just a couple of minutes of it raining, I found out that I had not achieved that. I kind of think I might have made it worse. It's kind of hard to say for sure based off of the amount of rain that came down and how fast it was coming down. But I'm definitely gonna have to go back to the drawing boards on this. This project was not a success. It's unfortunate, but that tends to happen. Not every project's gonna come out the way you intend it to, and this just happens to be one of those where I didn't plan it out well enough, and it was just dealing with water. It's just hard to always figure out where the water's gonna go and how to block it off in all areas. Something we always do in the military is after a mission, we address what we call after action report. And we always talk about our successes and failures of that mission. So here, even though I failed in trying to stop the water flow into the garage, I was able to succeed in a few things. I gained experience in using a router, which even though I have a router and a router table in the past, I've never really used them. I bought the new rotary hammer drill, and I gained quite a bit of experience with that and realized that I should have bought that from the very beginning for any sort of concrete work around here in the warehouse. And ultimately, I still visually improved the warehouse because now all the garage doors look virtually the same, having the yellow bumper board right at the front of the door. If you guys have any suggestions or advice on how to help me solve this situation with the garage and the flooding, then please leave some comments down below or message us on Instagram, because I'm definitely racking my head as to find a solution for this issue. For now, we'll see you next week on Grunt Cave.